Hi, this is Jeremy with Regional Entertainment. We have a very special guest with us today, Mr. Eastman, famous for the Ninja Turtles, and he is making a special appearance at Planet Comic-Con, the largest pop culture event in the Midwest, March 17th through the 19th. You've got to get your tickets today because you don't want to miss your opportunity to meet a legend. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Pleasure to be here, and actually super excited about going back to Planet Comic Con. We've done that show a number of times, and the fans over there just knock our socks off every time. It's a real treat for us. So we it's going to be our first official show of the new tour season 2023. So yeah, what a great way to kick it off.
In Kansas City. Now, also, you're coming. If somebody cannot make Planet Comic Con, there are two platforms that people can reach out to you: Cameo,
Yep.
and then we also have, I believe, if it's still current, Whatnot app.
Yeah, we're doing stuff on Whatnot, but I always direct people to KevinEastmanStudios.com, which is our main website, which is everything Kevin Eastman Studios, me. Yay, me. No, it's tour dates, behind the scenes, release information, new products, exclusives. You can join the fan club there and get a discount on anything we sell. But it just gives you up to date on anything we're doing. So if anybody wants to write us with any questions, we answer them there. There's, like I said, we're a very small company, so but yeah, that's the best place to find out anything and everything. But yeah, we do stuff with on Cameo, but Whatnot is a weekly kind of an auction thing we do. But yeah, Kevin Eastman Studios is the spot.
We will add that in the link. I wanted to ask you, how would you describe Ninja Turtles' lasting effect on pop culture?
Man, mind-blowing, certainly to somebody like me, and I would add humbling to that, because when Peter and I got into when we started working together, we shared the same dream, which was following the footsteps of our mutual hero, Jack Kirby. Since we were very young, wanted to write and draw and tell our own comic stories. So we both were writers and artists. So when we teamed up, it wasn't like he was a writer and I was the artist, or I was a writer and he was the artist. We really teamed up on all levels. And the fact that we did the first issue thinking, well, if it's only one issue, great. We're going to be working in comics one way or another. But the fact that the first issue then led to a whole lifetime, coming up on 40 years of working in comics, and a lot of it, about 90% of it's been on Turtles. So it's the greatest gift ever. It's a childhood dream that actually came true. And I know that's not always the case, but I'm very, very blessed.
Well, I got to grow up with your toys and your comic books, so I was very fortunate. I love what you created.
Thank you. No, that was, much like the first issue when it came out as a comic book, we weren't sure if it would ever sell. So when we went into because Peter and I owned and created it, so we worked on all the original animated shows and the toys and the movies, and for years we had kind of say over the whole thing, but we never imagined that, much like the comic book, that the toys and the cartoon shows would resonate the way they did with fans. And so we were pretty pretty amazed and pretty surprised and beyond pleased. So
I got to meet two of my comic heroes, Herb Trimpe and Stan Lee. Have you ever got to meet two of your heroes, and what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, no, actually, I did get to meet on several occasions, very luckily, as Jack Kirby, and both Peter and I got to meet him together and spend some time with him. Because he really was, there were so many guys that I admired over the years, from John Severin to Ross Heath, and I met Stan Lee a couple times, Frank Miller, of course, and numerous others that just were real big inspirations to me. But Jack Kirby, I always say that was the greatest experience of meeting one of your heroes, because was a true fan of what he did. He loved what he did as a job. He was a writer and a creator and just a boundless imagination, but he was very sincere about what he did. He didn't put himself above anything else. He's just sort of living the best life, and that was real inspiration. And I always was in great admiration of how he respected his fans, people that approached him. He just always had time to meet and greet and talk and post for a picture or whatever with fans. They were very important to him, and I learned a lot from him.
Oh, I see a lot of interviews online where you're usually at a studio. How many original toys do you still own?
I have so many toys and so many comics. I still have my original comics from when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, buying comics back in the day. And if they ever had a collector value, they certainly do not now because I read them so much they're barely held together by the staples that they were put together with. But I love all my original comics, original toys, of everything. And even I still collect, toys, of you know comics and heroes and things that I really like. But I do collect a lot of the turtle toys, and it means a lot to me. I love them because I'm a fan at the end of the day of all things in our medium and our genre.
I want to ask, you have done comic shows and conventions and met fans for several years. Is there a favorite piece somebody has brought you and is like, this is totally amazing, that stuck with you?
All of them, and I'm not belittling the question in any way, because it is really um especially to me it's more often than not, because you can tell the people that are coming there to have you sign a new comic, it's plastic bagged, and they're gonna resell it, and they're gonna resell it. But the ones that bring something that they had from the age of 6, a toy that's been, they don't, the weapons aren't there anymore. It's been chewed up a little bit, maybe by the family pet, and but they still save that particular toy for some reason. Or some of the early comic books, like I mentioned, mine are pretty well beat up, but they save those early comic books and those early toys and those things, and they'll bring something to sign like that, and they'll say, "I'm sorry, this is all I have," and I say, "This is the coolest thing you ever could have brought, because one, it meant that much to you to collect it in the first place, but you've kept it all these years, and you're now 30 years old." So no, it's very meaningful, and those kind of things. But I love hearing the stories. I mean, it really is, everything from I wore the Turtles Michelangelo costume for 3 Halloweens in a row, or those kind of things just make my heart really happy. It's really fantastic stuff.
What we want to ask, is there any upcoming projects for 2023 and 2024 you're allowed to talk about yet?
Sure. Well, the most exciting one we're doing now is we're doing it's kind of an introduction to, it's a follow-up to the last Ronin series that we did, uh, that wrapped up mid last year. And based on the response and the respect to that, we were able to develop a story, Tom Walton and I, to take it to the next level, or to continue the story, if you will, in what we call the Ronin verse, which is a turtle universe set in the future, from where, because we're still doing the Turtles ongoing series. So this is kind of a Dark Knight-ish story set in the future. So we're doing one right now called Last Ronin Lost Years, which is a kind of a prequel slash sequel, in that it's a prequel in that it covers a period of time in the Lost Years universe, volume 1, that takes you from issue 4 back to issue 1. But at the same time, it's a split issue, so it's also introducing the 4 new turtles that we introduced at the end of issue 5 of Last Ronin. So when that wraps up at issue 5, that'll lead straight into Last Ronin Part 2. So we've got probably the next 24 months really solidly booked with all things in the last in the Ronin verse, as we call it. So we're pretty excited.
I think I have time for one more with your schedule. The Turtle
Yeah,
Power came out in 2014, I believe. What was your?
that's right.
Yeah, it had massive reviews online. What do you think about that?
That was by far the best, most truthful, most well researched, thought out. The Randall Lobb and Isaac Fisher and Mark Holden, who produced that together. These guys spent 5 years interviewing everybody within the Turtle universe, whether it be actors, and besides Peter and myself on multiple occasions, actors, fans, comic retailers, people that gave you a perspective of all things in the Turtle universe. And they did in my opinion, the most accurate version of turtle history at that time. And we actually we still talk to them on a regular basis, and we've talked about continuing that, because there are unfortunate experiences, like the Toys That Made Us, who got most of the facts wrong, was really a kind of a gonzo, really bizarre sort of staging of events that didn't really match up with reality in my version and Peter's version of the world. But the guys that did Turtle Power want to do a part 2 and possibly a series of shows based on things here on planet Earth in reality. So we're excited to continue that conversation with them and present a true and factual history that both Peter and I, approve, which is the point.
Now, I want to ask, is there anything else that you want to tell your fans or you would like to plug?
No, I just, one thing I'd like to say is that we're very excited to get back out onto the tour for 2023. We eased back into it like a lot of us did in 2022. We did 8 shows last year, and it was great to be back after, not really being able to get out there and see everybody in person since 2019. So we've got a busy schedule this year, lots of great places, some places we haven't been before, which is even cooler. And yeah, this is a kind of a fun lead into 2024 shows, which is the official 40th anniversary. So, but aside from that, we do adore doing the shows. We enjoy meeting the fans. It gives us such great energy, and everybody's so they're just awesome, and we love it. So I would say, if I was going to plug anything, I'd say look forward to seeing you all out on the road this year.
Well, I look forward to finally getting to meet you in person because I waited years before that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so, yeah, I just say, so if you want to find out, if fans want to find out what shows we're going to be at and when, Kevin Eastman Studios, it's got a full tour schedule there, and anything else you want to find out, or if you something you want to know, don't be sure to ask us any questions. But the tour schedules are there, and yeah, look forward to meeting you in person as well.
So thank you. We are going to add those links below. Remember, this is Kevin Eastman and other guests. Planet Comic Con is going to be March 17th through the 19th. Get those tickets, photo ops, everything you can today. Mr. Eastman, I'd like to thank you again for your time.
Absolute pleasure talking to you. I enjoyed it very much.